Winners come out of losers' positions. All of the significant battles are waged within the self. It's said that most of superheroes in the sports arena today came out of poverty areas. What does that prove? Number one, it's not where you're at, and it's not where you're from. It's not the race you're in. It proves the power of the dream. People say, you come from the wrong side of the tracks. Well, which is the right side? Left or right? I get tired of people that have been hanging onto the past for 3, 4, 5 generations when they should be hanging onto the future. Where I was from, I thought I was from a big family. I was the second oldest of 5 kids. If you study birth order, the second kid normally doesn't make it. So how do you explain me? You break the mold when you get a dream. We don't succeed on our weaknesses. We succeed on our talent and our hunger. If we're hungry enough for something, we change what we need to change and become what we need to become. We don't let the world run around and be prejudiced against us. Don't restrict your thinking based on where you're from or where you're at right now. I'll put it this way. Don't live within your means. I'm not encouraging you to go wild, to have no boundaries, or to be recklessly. Certainly we should spend within our means, but not live there. Talk with people smarter than you. Listen to those with more spiritual than you. Ask questions of those more successful than you. Lend a hand to those less fortunate than you. Don't stay where you are. If the shoe fits, don't wear it. If you do, you're not allowing room for growth. Webster knew all about ineffectiveness of living within your means. When you look up the word means in the dictionary, it tells you to see the word average. When you decide to live within your means, you're deciding to live an average life. I love it when somebody like Muggsy Bogues makes it. He's a professional basketball player who defied the odds. It's like he proved the facts don't count when the dream's big enough. I've always loved the guy that should never have been. Yet there he is, and he's a champion. And I'll never forget the news interview with two guys, one black, one black, one white, and they were averaging like 6'5", 6'6", and got bumped off the team by Bogues. I'd be embarrassed if I was 6'6" and a 5'3" guy knocked me off of a basketball team. Wouldn't you? I've got potential. It's no different than the story about David and Goliath. Even though he was the little shepherd boy, David went after Goliath knowing he was a giant and everybody was scared of him. But the reward was worth it. And the dream was worth it. And what I heard of a couple times in last year is that David picked up 5 stones. Did you know that? He picked up 5 stones because he knew Goliath had 4 brothers. He was prepared to kill all 5 of them. It's a big dreamer. Again, the facts don't count. In fact, the more you overcome, the more people respect you. I get excited when I hear about what's right in America. I get excited when I hear about I get excited when I hear what we're going to do. The changes that we can make. You and I are the ones that are going to change this country. Change our hometown. Change our school system. Change whatever you don't like. You and I got to change it instead of complaining and griping about it. Don't you know that those who have to come out of the loser's positions know better than anyone who needs to be changed? That there needs to be a change. A lot of guys have got all kinds of potential, but they're afraid. They're afraid of what their friends are going to think. It's that stupid status. They get so involved in it that they don't realize that if you got real friends, then they're going to like you no matter what you do. If they don't like you because of your dream, then they weren't really your friends. I knew that stroke could not hold me down. The devil will try to steal your dream every possible way he can. He'll hurt your relationship with people, with mates, with all things, but you cannot allow him to steal your dream. You gotta say, I'm glued to the dream. I've got a purpose. You're not going to make junk out of me. To come out of a loser's position, start with a dream. Our attitude makes the difference, and our attitudes in life. It absolutely affects how high you can go. It's up to us where we're going. It's not up to our bosses. It's not up to our parents. They give us guidance as far as they can, but it's up to us to make the necessary changes in our lives. To launch past where you are, be different. Don't fit in with the majority. It keeps you going when everything will stop anybody else. The more you go through life, the more challenges there are. We're all special. We all have special talents. We all have special potential. The most successful people have overcome the most. We cannot let our dreams go down a tube. We cannot talk about the problems. We've got to solve the problems. If you've got a problem, then find somebody that has a solution. Then you've got an answer. And you don't live on the problem. You live in the solution. Adversity causes some men to break and others to break records. William Arthur Ward. The most expensive party you can throw is a pity party. Dexter Yeager. One person with courage makes a majority. Anonymous. Chapter 8. Winners think alike. What separates people most is not their background or their race or education. It's the way they think. When I read books by people who have accumulated great wealth, I normally agree with almost everything they say. But it's amazing how many times I find losers who disagree with me and with what the books say. But I understand why. Losers think different than winners. I've been through winning and losing. How many of you had to reverse a lot of your thinking? I, too, have had to reverse a lot of my thinking on my journey from losing to winning. Every year I try to think better than I did the year before. Even today, we do things wrong. This shows others that we are not perfect or unique, and that we can achieve things and that we can achieve the things we all have as well. A lot of times people don't understand how much they have in them, or how we all need somebody to unlock the door to our hearts so that we can get rid of hang-ups. I love to see little kids. I always talk to them. I tell them how cute they are and how special they are. They haven't had the junk yet. They smile at you. I see some little girl and I sit there winking to see if I can get her to wink back. I mean, it's special, isn't it? Sometimes some of the best winners to learn from our kids. We need to have an attitude like the youth do. Success is an attitude. You can't be around winners and not get dividends. Winners think alike. If you want to be successful, then you've got to learn to be a good thinker. The right kind of thinker. There's the way that the 10% sees things, and then there's the way that the 90% sees things. If you listen to the 90%, then you'll never be in the 10%. The greatest education outside of the Word of God can be found in the stories of those who have succeeded. What they've gone through and what they had to overcome. Go listen to the people who are making it in the field you want. I've had to go through the failing and the rebuilding of my business, and then I found the magic of thinking big, the magic of believing, Acres of Diamonds, and How to Be Rich by J. Paul Getty. I read these books and said, this is not what the world is telling me, but this is what I need to know. I need to know how winners think, not how average people think. They're helping me by making me understand something about myself that empowers me. Without heroes, we're all plain people. And we don't know how far we can go. So Bertie and I picked heroes. J. Paul Getty, W. Clement Stone, Moses, Jesus. Those are some of my heroes. Those who can help you are not going to if you don't do your part. I'm sorry. Those who can help you are not going to if you don't do your part. Is a teacher going to come over and help you for free when they assign homework but you don't do it? You're not passing. You're not putting out. If you're going to build your own business, you need to expand your thinking. You need to read books that make you think bigger. How many books? I don't know. How many tapes or audios? I don't know. All of us either learn from experience of others or we have to experience it ourselves. Bertie and I have spent 38 years helping people change their lives. But we found that the moment they get focused on some area other than what they've been taught, the confusion comes in. So pick your mentors and pick them well. Look at the ones that had long-term success. It's a big difference between long-term success and some thinking that's a mess. I'm sorry. It's a big difference between long-term success and something that's a mess. If you plan to win, learn from the best. And if you plan to lose, learn from the rest. You'll know when your head rises above the crowd because you'll get all of the tomatoes. You learn to love the taste of tomato juice. Isn't it funny how successful people copy each other? And they think a lot along the same lines? The same thing goes with losers. But when you stop and think about it, how come a guy like Will Rogers has been copied so many times and your neighbors haven't been copied at all? There's a lot less winners in the world and there's a lot more losers. And if you're going to become a winner, then you had better realize that you're going to join the elite crowd. You're not joining the masses. Some of the greatest people in the world go down in life, but not in history, because they made wrong decisions. Some of the people who seem to have the least potential grow in life and go down to history because they make the right decisions. They made a decision to pay a price and think like a winner regardless of consequences. You got to accept the fact that you've got genius ability. Your mind is a muscle and it's going to put out what you put in. And if you put in garbage, then you're going to get out garbage. If you hang around people who have genius, then you'll be planting the seed of genius in your mind. For years, I've had people want to rub my arm so that they may be able to rub off. And I said, no, all you're going to get is sweat. You'll get the seeds of genius by hanging around super successful people. I don't want poverty thinking. I want genius thinking. If you're going to be successful, then you're going to start relating with people who are successful. You're going to discard what you don't like about them, and you're going to find what you do like about them. You're going to say, they're like me. I'm like them. I can make it. So many times today we listen to losers instead of winners. There may be 10,000 losers out there to tell you that you won't. Listen to the one winner that says that you can be anything you choose to be. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, as a man believeth in his heart, so is he. I've got a whole bunch of friends in books, authors of books that I read, say you can make it. Unfortunately, most of my friends told me I wasn't going to make it. I still love them, but I didn't accept that prejudice against me. You cannot accept that. You got to be prejudiced enough to say maybe I'm good enough. Maybe I'm not good enough yet, but I'm going to get better. Remember, every winner was once judged as a loser by the ones they thought were more qualified, their friends. They're not talent scouts. Only winners can spot a winner. When I went to the presidential inauguration in 1980, I had several people tell me that you don't go into an inauguration in cowboy boots. I got there and Reagan was wearing cowboy boots. In fact, a whole lot of private jets were coming out of a bunch of guys were A whole lot of private jets were coming in with a bunch of guys wearing cowboy boots. Average people don't know what winners do. They don't understand what is acceptable. And when you're with winners, you get dreams. And when you're with losers, you get regrets. Who will you want to be with? Where do you want to go? You've got to be a fighter. And if you only want acceptance, you're going to be accepted by the losers and never by the winners. The winners are the ones who pay the price. The winners are the ones that people shoot at all the time. I don't want to live the life that my mom and dad did. I want to make the change. How many of you have did that? I know I did. It doesn't make any difference if you're talking to the dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, or any other professional. Most people are successful, and the first one in their family to be successful, they change the course for their generation. Somewhere along the line, that kid said, I want to be like most people. I want to be like those people. And I'll take the ridicule, and I'll take the laughter, but I want to be there. I'm going to believe more in my dreams than in my surroundings, because my dreams will become my surroundings. And they found happiness. The winners are always part of the answer. The loser is always part of the problem. The winner always has the program. The loser always has an excuse. The winner says, let me do it for you. The loser says, that's my job. The winner sees an answer for every problem. The loser sees a problem for every answer. Your choice is, which one do you want to be? You've got to believe more than the rest of the world. You've got to have the picture of the reality of your future. Things don't just happen. Somebody makes them happen. While we're going through this dream night after night, challenge after challenge, we heard people make excuses. We learned a long time ago, accept people in spite of their excuses, but reject the excuse. If we accept their excuses, then we may rub them off on us. We've got to realize there are two kinds of people, winners and losers. Most rich people were poor once, and they didn't like it. We've been poor once, but we did something about it. The ones who are waiting for somebody else to do it for them aren't going to get it done. It's just not going to happen. Rich people aren't going to make poor people rich. However, in the United States of America, people on welfare are in the top 2% standard of living in the world. And we don't have poverty in America. We have poverty thinking. What's happened in Birdie and Mai's life, you can have happen to you, or you can follow the losers. Winners stick together. I mean, I meet winners, and the next thing I know, we have a bonding because we've traveled the same road. It doesn't make any difference whether what we've been through, the same crap or not. We came out on top. Get around the magic. See, there are a lot of people who have the energy and they've got the contacts, but they don't have the magic. The magic isn't held by a lot of people. You want to get somebody working closely with you that has the magic. It makes all the difference. Now, how much magic do you have? You haven't got the magic unless you associate with somebody who's got it. It's hard to rub off on it by itself. First, we have to begin to think, and then we have to learn to think right. Dexter Yeager. Thinking is the hardest work there is. That's why so few people engage in it. Henry Ford. The significant problems we face in life cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that created them. Albert Einstein.